Good day, fellow Tifosi. So back in April of 2021, I reviewed this model. This is a 1/43rd scale made by a brand IXO, or IXO, I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. And I got it for like 14 or 15 bucks, I forget. You can search for that review, just look up like Ferrari 250. And for the money, this is actually a pretty good model. I mean, it literally has air passing between those wire wheels, so it's quite impressive. But I don't really have room. Well, I'm keeping this one, but I don't collect 1/43rd scale, even though they seem to be a much better value than 1/64. So we're going to talk about a brand that's new to me, but maybe the car is not new to me. It showed up in the mail. I haven't taken it out or anything like that. I want to, see what kind of problems there might be. Hopefully there are none, because this is definitely on the high end of pricing here. I bought this off AliExpress, and there's still a few on there on AliExpress. Alright, so it says top collector's model. It's a very heavy duty box, very similar to the box I've seen from Makeup or Titan 64. So I wouldn't be surprised if the same factory is making this model. Okay. So I think this is actually the serial number of the photograph behind here. Obviously this blue scheme is not your common Ferrari paint scheme. I don't know the story behind it. If anyone knows, please leave a comment. Yeah, so it's not licensed, it's just one of these brands that pops up, makes a bunch of nice models, and then vanishes so they don't get sued out of existence. Alright, so it's a strong box. We have this TCM emblazoned or heat treated onto this synthetic wiping cloth here, microfiber thing. It's in a bag. Let's take this out of the tape. Oh boy, it's got one of these leather bases, which I'm not really a fan of, because if it's synthetic leather always tends to crack and peel. I know this because if you collect action figures with fake synthetic leather, their clothing always cracks and peels after time, because I guess it's just a cheap plastic that oxidizes. If it's real leather, that would be more beneficial, but I don't want to sit there and put a bunch of leather cream on a base of a model. So this is extremely loose. It's so loose you can hear it moving around. So don't pick it up by the cover, or you're going to have to buy a new model. Alright. I'm not going to take it off the base. It's totally sealed off. And it seems the base is extremely tall for no reason. I don't understand the logic behind making this base this tall. Why? It's strange, It really only needs to be that tall, really. Or maybe this could be half as high so it can capture that really loose cover. Anyways, if you look at the side of this piece of fake, I'm pretty sure it's fake leather. I'm not a leather expert, but, well, I don't know, I can't make that call. Anyways, it seems to be a limited edition here. It's a 250 SWB. I'm not going to talk about the car because I talked about it extensively in that 1/43rd scale review. And these high-end resins, I tend to spend a lot of time just looking at the model, being impressed or angry, one or the other. We'll see. Alright, well, looking at the photo there, it's not too bad, I guess. Let's try the side view of the general proportions. Alright. Okay, well that's it then. Alright, let's see what we get here. So yeah, the blue is not metallic or anything like that, it's just a sky blue. Boy, my camera definitely makes it look like a richer, darker blue than the naked eye. The naked eye, it's a really, it's a lighter blue than my camera is showing, but of course, with my camera maybe being off and your screen being off, I mean, this might end up looking green on your computer. Alright, well, it's going to be a lot of zooming in here. Let's start with the wheels. They're photo etch spokes. They're bent, so it looks conical. And it looks like there's a brake system back there. It's kind of weird though. Like, where's the caliper of the brake system? You can clearly see a circle, but it doesn't have much dimensionality. And it seems like the caliper is just not there at all. There's actually 2 layers of spokes. You know, the one's obviously the closest to us, but if you look past that, there's a second layer of spokes, which is pretty nice. Okay. But the weird thing is, they're in front of that. Well, I don't know. I guess that's alright. I don't know if the rim itself is metal or plastic. I don't know. Okay. This, excuse me, I tend to cough when I don't have water. So it's not that I'm sick. For some reason, I spontaneously cough because my throat gets dry, and it gets dry by talking a few minutes. Alright. Anyways, this reflector is a separate piece, and it's clear, translucent plastic, but it looks shiny as well, so it might actually be like a piece of metal that's painted, if I had to guess. That's what I'm guessing. The bumper's a separate chromed piece. The tires have good curvature for this era of vehicle. You know, they look like balloons. This little vent here, it has a photo etched piece of metal. I'm guessing that's what that is because it's so thin. And it's shiny, and the slots are painted black. It could possibly be plastic. I don't know. I don't really care as long as it looks nice, and it does look pretty nice. Then there's 2 silver dots here. I think those are, well, they're definitely separate pieces. They're extremely shiny, so again, it might be metal that's clear coated in this case. You know, look at the door handle. Wow, now that's a first for me. That's a photo etched door handle. It's a little weird though, to be honest with you. It doesn't have the thickness as one would expect from a door handle. Although looking at the real photograph, this Ferrari has pretty thin metal door handles. So you might want to back up to that side picture and decide for yourself. It's interesting. It's interesting. Although I think I'd still rather have a molded plastic one with more thickness to it. The rear wheel, yeah, there's that center knockoff that looks very nice. That's a photo etched piece of metal because the circle is shiny, and then the rest of it's like a matte finish, which means it was etched away with acid. Rear vent again, shiny and black, so very nice. Well, I guess we'll go around to the back here. Well, actually, let's do the side window here. So, sheet windows. Let me try to focus on my back finger there. No, maybe not. Anyways, it's extremely clear. Although actually, well, in certain light, that sheet window may be not so clear. I might have to take that back. It looks like it's got a graininess to it. But there is a photo etched piece of metal on top of it to mimic the chrome window molding. And then the frame of it also has, you know, the door frame has a piece of stainless metal. Extremely, really shiny. Well, we might as well try the interior now that we are kind of there. Let me back out here. Boy, this is so difficult. Well, maybe I could do this. Let me hit the focus on this window, try to go in, hit focus again. Okay, that actually worked. Look at those instruments, looking very good. The steering wheel is brown and the middle is silver, and there's probably a logo in the middle of that steering wheel. There's some sort of circular shape. There are a bunch of gauges also be next to the binnacle in the middle. Or are those air vents? I'm not sure. The shifter is nice and thin, chrome. It's a ball, or it's silver. And then look, the shift boot is conical. And then below the shift boot, that could be a piece of metal with black etching on it, black paint. I don't know what that is, though, on the real car. Please leave a comment if you know. Is it an ashtray? Look at the texture on the center armrest. It looks like kind of leathery. Okay, look at this, the seat belt there. I'm thinking that's a photo. I don't know. It's got dimensionality to it. I just don't know if that's plastic or a piece of metal that's been etched. So it's kind of hard to tell, but there's a black seat belt, following the contour of that seat. That's hard to tell also. I'm not sure if that's molded into the seat or it's a separate piece of like fake leather or something, but it's got thickness to it. You notice here on the dashboard there's a rectangle. I think that's like an air vent on the dashboard. Okay. Now, look at these wiper blades. They're bent pieces of metal, and they're highly chromed. Let me turn the flashlight off. So those are really good wiper blades. I mean, it looks like it has lightning holes where the blade is, like a real one. So that's really good. You'll also notice this paint is pretty smooth. You can see some orange peel. This is 4 times magnified. The roof is exceptionally smooth. There's no orange peel at all. Yeah, the hood could have been a little bit better. Oh, seems to be some residue there on that vent area. The Ferrari badge also seems a little weird. Like, I can't focus any further in there. I can't zoom anymore. So it's not a very good Ferrari logo. It's like the yellow is offset from the black frame. So it seems like that Ferrari logo took 2 different paint processes to make, but they didn't line it up correctly. Now, this stripe here, I think that's a decal, but I also think it's underneath the clear coat. Yeah, it is. This is perfectly smooth. You can see it. You can almost see the pick is above that blue edge because it's under the clear coat. So this is really nice, this graphic, and that badge will never come off because it's literally trapped in the clear coat. Alright, so the top of the roof, there's also a black vent of some sort. What I'm trying to figure out, is that an additional piece or just paint? I think that's an additional piece. You can see the thickness of the black, so that's nice. The rear window has a chrome piece on this flat plastic, and then this rear badge, look at that Ferrari badge is a piece of metal because you can see the thickness of it. So it's a 3-dimensional Ferrari badge, it's not just a tampo print. Now that badge is on the outside of the clear coat. The license plate, MFF 440, so this is a real car, I'm gonna guess. Yeah, looks good. It's a decal. The taillights, they're domed, translucent plastic, looking very nice, and they seem to be backed on a chrome metal piece, or a stainless metal piece. So you can see, it looks like the real car that has a chrome bezel around the clear. I'm going to guess those rectangles are reflectors, but you can see they're not just flat. They're domed. I almost feel like that's a piece of metal and it's got red resin dried on top of it. So the tension of the resin made it dome out like that. Then this thing in the middle, I'm going to guess is like a handle or something to open the trunk. But that seems to be a photo etched piece of metal as well, if I had to guess. Those exhaust tips are metal, I'm pretty sure, because they're so thin. There's no way you can make that plastic. You couldn't pull it out of a mold. Yeah, look at this. Look how far that pick goes in. So these are real metal tubes, like the real car would have, so you can't get any better than that. Now the alignment, that's a different story. This is all gapped out. I can't tell on the photograph if they should be touching like that or have a gap, but obviously they're not very consistent, so that's too bad for me. Chromed bumper looks pretty good. Tiny dot there, probably a key for the fuel filler door. Yeah, that metal piece as well. Look at the reflection. See, that's really shiny, that little vent. So I think that's a piece of photo etched stainless steel. It was almost a perfect model. So rare to have a perfect model, no matter what you spend, really. So I guess the top vent there, you can see that texture. Hopefully, sorry, I can't get it any better than that. I've hit the focus like 5 times. You can see there's a texture there. So I'm pretty sure that might be again a piece of like photo etched metal. I don't think you could print that. It just because it's inset. See, when I go to the top view here, I gotta back out here. That piece is actually inset, so I'm pretty sure it's a separate piece. Okay, the grill. I think there's air behind the grill. So right at this angle, the grill, this just looks like black rectangles. But as I move to the front, there's something behind it. It might just be a blank piece of metal or something, or it's just a gap. Oh, there you go. Now you can easily tell with the light that that's a real opening into the body. Alright, these headlights looking very good. It's really hard to focus on something so shiny. But looking at this far headlight, this thing, I don't know if that's metal or plastic, but this is perfectly smooth. There's no break. But look inside of it. I mean, there's an indication of a light bulb. So, if I had to guess, this is some sort of molded piece of plastic, maybe, chromed. And then I think they poured resin into it. And then after it dried, they polished it. Because there's no physical break, you can't see any air gap, you can't see any glue. So it's really nice. I can't imagine how long it takes just to make this headlight. 8, 15 hours for some sort of resin to actually dry, and then someone has to sit there and polish it? It could take 20 hours just to make this headlight. Which again is why every now and then I fork out the cash to buy these things, because I couldn't make this model. If someone gave me all the pieces, like 10 sets, I'm pretty sure I could make this model. But painting this alone would probably take 2 hours of painting and maybe 20 hours of drying, if I had to guess, based on my experience making a couple hundred model kits as a kid, that is. Alright. These are really domed out as well. And then you can see some striations there. Or is it an illusion? I'm not sure. It looks like there's some striations, like stripes. Well, that's quite interesting. Now these things I think maybe are turn signals, but they feel flat. Or am I wrong? Yeah, those are perfectly flat. So that actually is the one thing that isn't really realistic. Looking at the photograph, these should be domed out, just like the rear taillights. But it seems pretty flat to me. There's no like resin dome. So that's too bad. Oh, look at that. That's pretty bad. The decal of this license plate. So that's not good. And also, the prancing horse is part of the same piece as the grill. That's kind of lazy, I think. I think there should be a separate prancing horse glued onto this grill, because it was, it doesn't really look like a horse, right? Because it's blended into the rectangles. So for the kind of money that this model goes for, that really there should be a separate horse glued onto that, in my opinion. All right. Well, let's see the interior again, but let's try from this side. Yeah, pretty impressive instruments there. think that seatbelt is a separate piece. You know, I think it's like a fake synthetic leather. And then it's, well, that's what I'm guessing, but looks like that glove box has a little dot on it. Hold on here. I'm trying to see the door. Okay. So it does look like there's some silver dots on the door, probably like wind down window and door handle pull. Let me try to shine the light from the back. Yeah, sorry, this is impossible. It's it's really, I can't do it. Sorry, I can't illuminate the interior anymore. Alright, well, I guess it's time to compare it to a couple other models. So first I'm going to start off with the 1/43rd scale, right? That's the most, just to give you guys a size difference. So both of them actually do capture the essence or the general shape of the real car, in my opinion. You'll see on this IXO model, those white turn signals underneath the headlights are domed out. So IXO got it better, but at a fraction of the price. Okay, so yeah, I would say 1/43rd scale, if you have the room, that's the scale you want to collect. It's a good value, and then you can get crazy, insane, expensive ones as well if you want to spend the cash, but I do not have the room. Alright, so Kyosho here is coming up as Ferrari 250 California Spider. I'm gonna guess this is from one of their early collections because it looks a little subpar. It literally has a decal as the Ferrari badge, but the Ferrari badge on that Kyosho is actually better, I think, than the one on this TCM. Although the proportions of the don't make any sense. It's too big. Now this next Ferrari I think is from a latter collection because it had a screwed together base and the wheels don't look so miserable. It's a 275 GTB. Alright. I'm going to do a top view in a second. The last one I'm going to pull out is also screwed together, and it's a Ferrari 330 P4. And this one has fantastic wheels. There's only two colors on it, so alright. So this is kind of weak. This is okay. The P4 is pretty awesome. Considering, you know, what it probably cost less than $10 when it was new. Okay. Now the last comparison will be another resin model. It's the Ferrari 250 GTO by SCM, and it's a dang shame that one of the wiper blades seems to have fallen off as I pulled this out for many different videos, and I don't know, it's just gone. I know you can get this 250 GTO under different brands, maybe JEC, DMH, or DCM, some acronym. You know, again, they're avoiding legal pursuit, so these companies just come and go. Which Ferrari do you guys like more? That is a question. For me, I think I'd still steer towards the 250 GTO. I think that's the nicest looking Ferrari of all time. And I think a lot of wealthy people would agree because I think it's the most expensive car ever sold at auction. Although, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm always wrong. Alright. Okay guys, well, it's not every day I get to, you know, get one of these this level of model in. And although it's not perfect, it's still obviously the nicest 250 SWB you're ever going to get in 164, at least until this company vanishes and another random brand comes up and does it again. But it might look similar to this, just a different paint scheme, right? So the highlights of this one: the clear windows, all these tiny metal grills and vents. I mean, so those pieces are so small. I do have to kind of pity the people making these models. They must have giant magnifying glasses, you know, that they're working under making these things. I don't think a normal human being can really put these vents in the right place without magnification. Oh, there is a rear view mirror I'm noticing there as well. It's a shiny piece of metal as well. There are no side mirrors, but then again, all the real photographs don't show any side mirrors either. So I guess that's accurate. Yeah, the wheels are nice. I mean, they're metal, and there's air passing between the spokes, so that's another highlight. The only real detriment to this model is those blinkers underneath the headlights. They're not domed out. So, and then quality-wise, my exhaust tips aren't perfectly aligned. One side is off from the other. And then the Ferrari badge under 4 times magnification looks a little bit weird. But I'll tell you, looking at it right now from half an arm's length away, you can't see anything. That badge is so small. It's proportional to the real vehicle, so you wouldn't notice it unless you put a magnifying glass to it. So that I can overlook. And yeah, the door handles are questionable. But again, from half an arm's length away, they're not bad. Alright. So, I can highly recommend this model. I'm very happy I have it. You'll obviously have to decide for yourself if you think it's worth the price. But you always have to ask, well, I always ask myself, can I make that model for less than the price of it costs? Just the time alone to make it, it's worth it. It's better for me to just buy the thing than try to make the thing. Alright, so that's why I do it. Alright guys, well, hopefully sooner or later I'll get another high-end model in, but I just don't know when. And I guess I'll hopefully see you then. Thanks for watching, guys.